everybody, Ben here with the PointByPatrol, and what this video is basically about, this is the crash recap. So I'll be showing some pictures of the damage on my white Civic Type R. Also be discussing, kind of how the accident happened, injuries, things of that nature, as well as track insurance and next steps. So, to start with, the accident itself, completely my fault. I was out on track the entire weekend with a bad pinched nerve all the way through my neck, getting numbness all the way down to my hands, and it was really just wiping me out. And I told myself that that was going to be my very last session. There was another session left in the day, but I decided I was going to go out with that one, and then I was going to head to the house. But what I didn't realize when I was out there, and unfortunately until it was too late, I was making a bunch of small mistakes, and those were due to fatigue. And ultimately, it ended up costing me the car. I went into turn 9 with no throttle, a fast steering movement, and that's all it took to rotate the rear. Not enough counter steer, did not power back on, and decided at that point that I was going to bail. Little did I know that there was a ditch at the bottom of that hill, or that the grass was as rough as it was. In all of our instructor sessions, or in not instructor sessions, but rather classroom sessions, for example, at turn 10, if something goes awry, they tell you just to go ahead and bail into the grass. So I figured, you know what, shoot, turn 9, you can probably do that. But I was completely wrong. I got bruised up pretty bad from the whole thing. It made the pain in my neck, shoulder, and back even worse. I did not lose consciousness. I got right out of the car the second that it was done flipping. It flipped a total of 5 times, and it seemed like it was going on and on and on forever until the car finally came to a stop. When I saw that ditch come up, and I was still traveling at around 60 miles an hour, and I thought the car was just going to stop, basically instantly, in which case it would have likely severed the connection between my neck and head, and just would have been instant death. Luckily, the car flipped, and that's a great way for all of that energy to be dissipated. So again, completely my fault, and some really hard lessons learned. Big old bite of humble pie, but humble pie is made of experience, and nobody ever said that experience tastes good. So we're going to go ahead now, take a look at some of the pictures, so that you can kind of see what damage happened to the car. All right, now that you've seen the photos, let's talk about track insurance. So I was insured through Locked In Motorsports. I had a $60,000 policy on the car. It wasn't a great experience, but I'll let you decide. I'm not here to talk trash about anybody in particular, but this is kind of the process. So I started the claim the same day that the accident happened, a couple hours after the accident happened. Didn't hear from my adjuster for 2 days until afterwards. He gave me a phone call. He sent an adjuster out to see the car. The car was left at the racetrack. And then it was kind of silence for the next 2 days until the appraiser got back with the adjuster, and they appraised the vehicle as if it was just a stock vehicle. There were no questions ever if I had aftermarket equipment or anything on the car. And I couldn't get my adjuster to call me back. I'd left him multiple messages, obviously new to the process, and didn't know next steps or really what to do, and wasn't getting the answers that I needed, which was frustrating. So I reached out to Locked In directly, and they basically said, hey, once you have an open claim, we're out. You need to contact your adjuster with any kind of questions, which was more than frustrating for me because I felt like they didn't have my back at all at that point. You know, I had paid them the money for the insurance policy, and after that, it's just sorry. Um, so either way, struggled back and forth, just trying to get up with the adjuster. He would only respond via email. He would never call me back. The appraisal came back, and they had appraised the car as if it was bone stock. They only wanted to offer 42,000. The policy had a 10% deductibles, which would have been $6,000, meaning that maximum payout would have been 54,000. So I gathered up all of my receipts and sent it to the adjuster and said, "Hey, well, what about this? The policy is supposed to cover all of these parts as well." And it was back to radio silence. Basically, he said, "Hey, I'll just get back to you." Reached out to my lien holder multiple times to let them know what had happened, and they said that the adjuster needed to contact them, which he refused to do so. I was finally able to get them on a three-way phone call after emailing him and basically saying, "Hey, you need to talk to these folks. They need to talk to you. There's information and documentation that they need from you." But the insurance company's policy with this adjuster was that they just don't reach out to the lien holders. It's the lien holder's responsibility, meaning American Honda Finance in my case, to reach out to them, which they don't do either. They're like, "Well, hey, no, the adjusters always call us." But either way, finally got those together. Several more days go by, and the adjuster finally gets back to me and says, "Hey, yeah, we're going to pay out the maximum amount. We've reviewed your receipts." And yeah, so after that, they came and picked up the car. I had to have it moved to a location away from the track. The track only gave me 1 week to have the car sitting there at the track. And so I had to have the car towed and moved, which was an additional expense, which I did receive a check from track insurance to cover the cost there. They went and picked up the car. Honda received the checks and sent me the title. I then mailed the title off to the insurance company, and that's really the end of the process there. But do your research, folks. There are several companies apart from Lockton that offer track insurance, like Haggerty and like Open Track. And I made a couple phone calls around, and so did a few of my friends. And it really sounds like Haggerty and Open Track, they actually advocate for you should there be any issue whatsoever with the insurance company. And that's something that I was missing with Lockton. That might explain the difference in price. Lockton is significantly less expensive than the others. So um, do your homework first before you get the track insurance. It's not always about the cheapest price. I know that going to the track's already pretty expensive, but it's probably worth it. Things like this can happen. People get tired. You're going to get tired. Or, I mean, you could have an accident that isn't even your fault. It could be caused by another driver where your car is either damaged or lost. But either way, I've had several folks ask me, what next steps are. Are they going to see me back out at the track? Am I going to be back in a Civic Type R? And now that I've been made whole with the track insurance, and to answer those questions, I'm absolutely going to get back out there. I still have a lot to learn, and I've set aside some dates on my calendar where I'll be back out there. I'm a bit nervous about it, obviously. I've been having a couple nightmares here and there where I just kind of relive the crash in slow motion. But I've got a good support network and group of folks that um, really care about me and wanted to make sure that I was back on my feet. But to answer the question about next steps, I'll go ahead and show you what I'm going to be out there next in. And again, I do appreciate you guys watching, supporting me through all of this, and we'll see you guys back out on the track. And I'll just leave this last part with you.